Welcome back to another episode of the For Your Good podcast. I'm your host, Zae, and I'm here with my co-host, Buki.
I need to stop looking at that.
Okay, stop looking at what? This thing? It's okay. It's okay. All right, babe, so I didn't tell you what today's topic was, but so for everyone who doesn't know, first off, I know it's been a minute since we put a podcast video out, but that don't even matter. So we just gonna act like that didn't happen.
Got my ring.
It's all right, babe. They know we married. We here.
You talking about the argument last week?
No, we're not talking about like. Babe, okay. So I made a video on TikTok talking about thanking the husbands, everything you guys do, like all the burden you guys carry that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. And in the video, I mentioned being like a provider, like you taking care of the bills, everything. And so I had a couple of men. A lot of men were kind of like, you the reason why he's stressed out. You the reason why, because you're not helping him.
Am I allowed to curse?
No, don't cuss. Okay. So yeah, they were just crazy. And I didn't think I was going to get that response from the men. I thought I would get it from the women, right? So I wanted to ask you, well, this is kind of like a twofer because I wanted to make one video about the other topic, but I don't think it'll be long enough. So it's going to be a two-part question, right? So the first thing, right, I want you to tell me like why you chose to be a provider. By provider, I mean like you want to pay all the bills, you want to take care of everything. Word. But I mean, you did because some men can choose that they don't want to, right? So like why do you want to be a sole provider? That's what it is, sole provider.
I don't know. I want to say it's like easily 50% ego.
Okay, you're honest. Go ahead.
50% ego, just to say that I am a provider. Yeah. But I think, I don't know. I just feel like it's right. Like, that's just what you're supposed to do. Okay. I feel like it's innate.
You think it's innate?
Yeah.
So, like, when did you figure out, and this might be a dumb question, but when did you decide, like, I want to be a sole provider for my wife? Like, just in general, even if it wasn't me, I'm assuming that's the role you would always
I think it's you.
Take.
I think it's the person.
You think it's just me?
Yeah, because I'm married to you, I want to be able to provide because I like who you are. But I think if it was a different woman, then, like, no. Like,
really?
Like, let's say I was making $600,000 a year on some crazy stuff, right? And I gave you a credit card. I don't think you're the type of person to go and just do crazy stuff with the credit card to where I can't trust you.
So for you personally, it's if you, let's say it wasn't me, you were married to somebody else. You're deciding on whether or not you wanted to be a sole provider would be on her ability to be responsible, like financially.
Nah, not necessarily. It's not about being responsible. It's about so I guess that's a bad example about the credit card. It's more like I know you're grateful, and I also know that you're the type of person that you would do the same thing. Like, you would also spend money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Okay.
So, like, when you say that it's 50% ego, what does it do for you being the sole provider?
I don't know. I feel like that's a man thing. I feel like that's the part that's innate. I feel like you're supposed to want to do that just because you're the man. Like, you're just supposed to go out, get the food, bring the food home. Like,
I agree with that.
That's just how it goes. But like, because society has, now food is the phone bill, the rent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So one thing people were saying, which I also thought was a good point, this one guy was like, hey. My phone.
I don't have my phone on me. So one thing somebody was saying, which was a good point, they were like, okay, well, this is great, but what happens if, God forbid, something happens to your husband, then what? Like basically trying to say the men being the sole provider may not be always beneficial because if something were to happen to you, now we don't know what's going on.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good point.
Yeah. I think the thing that kind of was weird to me was like the men automatically wanted to blame me, saying I was the reason why, as if I told you to be the sole provider.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Right?
That's weird.
And so that's one thing I want to address is like when Donnie and I first got married, it was definitely 50-50. Like we were not even when we first got married, it was all you when you were in the military.
Yeah,
it was all you.
It definitely wasn't 50-50.
It was all you, right? And then when we moved in together again, like 2020, in the townhouse, that was when it was like 50-50 kind of. And then when we got here to Texas, we ended up having a conversation. He was like, look, babe, this is how I want the dynamic to be between us. I want to be the sole provider. You can work if you want to. You can make your own money if you want to. But I want to be the one to pay all the bills. And that was hard for me at first to kind of like relinquish that. I don't know what it was. I think it was just my perception of like what it meant to be for you to be a husband, me to be a wife financially. Yeah. So even though I understood, like, the way it was for me was my money is our money, your money is your money. That's how it was for me. That's in my mind. That's why I didn't like asking you for anything. Like, I never asked you to, like, can you pay for me to get my nails done, my hair done? I didn't even really like asking you for food. Even asking him for money to pay the bills was hard. Like, asking for money for groceries was hard. And I don't know why. But now...
Well, you're looking at me when you're talking to that.
Because I have to be. I don't know. I'm looking at both. But yeah, so it was hard for me. But like he said, it was like, all right, I want to be the one to pay the bill. So now it's definitely like he pays all the bills of the house. So the rent, all the utilities. The only thing we split right now is our phone bill. Mm-hmm. And that's it. All my money is just kind of like groceries, like my own savings, paying my own debts or whatever. And so how do you feel? Do you feel like it's a stressful thing for you? Like, no?
No, I don't think it's stressful.
You think does it make you feel good to like, know, okay, I'm the one taking care of everything?
60-40. Okay. It's like 60% it makes me feel good. 40% is like, dang, if I wasn't doing this, I could keep a lot more money in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that. I get that part. And that's probably why a lot of men feel the way they feel too. Because a lot of men were like, no, like they should help. You should be the one helping him. And so I had to explain to them. Yeah, babe, they was really coming for me.
Yeah, that's weird.
I had to explain to them like, this is what he wanted. Like, it's not on me. It's not like I told him like, this is how it has to be. And there are women like that would be like, yeah, you pay for everything.
Right.
Some women, the thought of 50-50 is crazy. Like they don't think that I guess like a good man would never want him and his wife to go 50-50. So what do you feel about the whole 50-50 thing? Because that's a controversial topic.
I think it's fine. If that's what you want, that's cool. But I feel like that's weird to me. Like, as a man, I feel like your first instinct should be to do everything. Like that's just my take. Mm-hmm. That doesn't say I'm right, but that's weird for you to go into a relationship with a woman who essentially is like you kind of get rid of your mom and replace her with a wife. Mm-hmm. And it's like, would you make your mom go 50-50? Like the woman that takes care of everything in the house, like the woman that raises your kids, like you wouldn't, not to raise your kids, but like the woman that takes care of everything. She feeds you, she cooks, like she cleans, like, I don't know. That's weird to me. 50-50 is weird. Yeah. I think there's nothing wrong with that dynamic. But to have that as a requirement, that's weird. I see. Like it shouldn't be a requirement.
Thing. It's one thing if like maybe you guys are not doing okay with money and you guys both agree, hey, let's do 50-50 for now as a temporary thing.
I get that too. I think it's a personal thing. Like if you're with a certain female and she has certain upkeeps and stuff. I don't know. I can't even explain it. Like I don't see the point in, like, I don't see any reason in there being you would need a 50-50 clause in the prenup. Like I'm not seeing where that would make sense. Like, oh, she wants to get her nails done every day, her hair done and all of this stuff. And so because of that, because the upkeep is so crazy, you want her to pay 50% of the bills and stuff. That's weird. I think as a grown man, you should already be paying your rent, paying your phone bill, paying your car note, paying everything. And then when you get a wife, you're bringing her into your world. And now you have to pay whatever it costs for the extra bedroom or the extra bathroom. That's how I see it.
You know what I think it is? It might be what you were saying, like they want to keep some money for them. So if she's living with me, she pays half, I pay half, I still got money on the side for me.
Which I understand.
Yeah.
I understand
you understand both sides.
I understand that to an extent. But I feel like the 50-50 thing I'm okay with the 50-50 thing if you're insisting on it. If you're insisting that you pay 50% of the things, cool. Me personally, I want to pay everything. So that way, if you're hot and you want to turn the AC on, I'm going to tell you, yeah, no. Or if it's cold and you want to turn the heat on, I'm going to tell you, no, like put a hoodie on. Like I like having and I guess that's narcissistic. Maybe it's not narcissistic, but it's selfish. Yeah. But like, I like knowing that if we get into an argument, you can't say, get out the house. It's my house. Like, so I'm not going anywhere. That's not why I like paying the bills. That's a perk to paying the bills. It's like, there's nothing, like you can't tell me I don't provide. You can't tell me to get out of your house. You can't, because I'm not going to do that to you, but I know you can't do it to me.
Right.
Like I know you, like and now mind you, she's the one that controls all the temperature, the AC. She's the one that be playing with it. And it be pissing me off. But I know that I can at any time be like, yo, you don't pay that bill, stop touching it. Like I like knowing that I can do that.
You could do that if you ever needed to.
Yeah. And maybe which is selfish, but I like that.
Okay. So I was gonna say maybe that's another reason why men do 50-50, but then no, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. They may be like, you crazy for that. You trying to hold it against her? It's my house.
The 50-50 thing is crazy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's segue into the next topic, right? So they were saying that I stress you out. I'm the reason why, blah, blah, blah. So now we cleared it up. He's a sole provider. He wants to be the sole provider. He don't want to do 50-50 no more, right? Now people were saying, oh, well, we need to hear your husband's side about like my being a wife. And we never talk about that.
What do you mean?
So like basically the videos I share, the things that I share, like the advice and the
it's all
suggestions.
cap. Yeah, no, she's terrible. She be walking around the house, she don't do nothing. She don't.
All of that, they're like, okay, we want to hear your husband's side. So I want to ask you, what do you think are facets of me that help you to be the husband you are? Like that help you to walk in your role like more efficiently or effectively or like handle conflict better or like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like the facets of me that help you be you?
There's a lot of things
but in a good
that
way.
are crazy. Like this morning, I get ready for work. I don't expect you to get out of the bed because the kids are staying home from school, so you don't got to do nothing technically. And I get out the bathroom after a shower, and you're like, "Oh, are you hungry? Oh, you want me to make you some food?" And I'm like, "No, shut up, go to sleep." Now, mind you, in Colorado, I was tight because she was trying to. Remember, you would be in the bed and I'll be going to work, but you wasn't the same wife that you was in Colorado.
Yeah, that was years ago.
The person that you was in Colorado is not who you are today. I would say today you are walking in a wife role in a way that like I can't even bring myself to like talk to you crazy. Like I can't bring myself to yell at you like you do too much. If anything, it's gonna mess me up. Like that's that narcissistic. I was about to curse. That's that narcissistic stuff. When I don't know. So anyway, I digress.
I'm saying you're narcissistic. You are not narcissistic.
No, I'm just saying that particular thing is a narcissistic kind of view of it. You know, it's like a selfish view of it. Like I can't say anything crazy to you because I don't want you to stop doing the things that you do for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
It's not like. But anyway.
But wait a minute. Before put a pin in that. Even when I am mad at you, do I still show up for you or not?
Yeah, and it be getting me tight.
Yeah. That gets you mad.
Yeah, I'll be mad. I'll be mad.
Okay, keep going.
Like when we got in that argument, the next morning, them gifts was here. I was like,
they're not even gifts.
Well,
yeah, so keep going.
But yeah, waking up, you'd be like, "Oh, are you hungry?" You be making me food, like breakfast. She wakes up in the morning. She gets the kids ready. On top of getting the kids ready, I be waking up late, like 30 minutes after she wakes up, and she be having my food ready, like just sitting there on the counter, like my breakfast for the day. And then I'm talking to them, but I'm looking at you.
It's okay.
She be having my food ready. She be having my clothes folded. Yeah, it's pretty legit.
Okay, so with that, those are like physical things.
Yeah.
But what about when it comes to like conflict? I know that's kind of sticky for us.
I don't think you helped me with dealing with conflict. I wouldn't say you helped me in dealing with conflict. I would say, Well,
let me put it this way. What facets of me do you think help us with our conflicts? Like help us to overcome conflict? Like different things that I do or say, conflicts? Yeah, just like let's say we have a disagreement or an argument or something, or we're mad at each other. Like what are certain things you think that I do that kind of help us navigate conflict?
I would say lately you've been tweaking. Personally, lately you've been tweaking.
In what way?
But in a tweaking way, it's like you've been trying to end conversations because you feel some type of way, and you've been trying to end the conversation because you don't like what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's been the only thing that's been pissing me off lately.
I end the conversation, and that's the thing, right? So the reason why I asked that question is because I don't want to portray it as if just because I'm making these videos that I'm perfect in everything, right? Yeah. So like everything is like we have to work towards it. So I think like from now where we are, way better at our conflict, way better at conflict, way better, right? But when I do what my bad habit is when we're having conversations and I feel like what I'm saying is no longer penetrating, that's when I want to walk away. I'm like, okay, never mind. And I need to have more patience to sit down and actually talk. But I feel like once I feel like I'm not being heard, there's no point in continuing the conversation.
That's your perspective. I don't think it has anything.
That is my perspective.
I don't think it has anything to do with, I don't feel like I'm being heard, because respectfully is once I'm starting to talk and I'm not being heard at all. It's like, well, now you're just being difficult.
Yeah, because of the way because of what you do, like certain ways that it's the way that we argue, right? Yeah. So I feel like that day that we argued, in my perspective, where I was so mad, is I'm like,
trying to do this, by the way.
Yes, we were trying to do the podcast, right? And the reason why I was so upset is because I felt like you were just pulling things out of a bag. Like you were just saying random things, and I'm just like, So at first I'm trying to like tell you, okay, no, that's not it. Like,
and I was trying to thread the needle. I was trying to.
That's not. I was like, oh my God.
I was trying to dance around things.
I'm like, he's making up excuses right now. That's what I was like, all right, you're being unreasonable. I'm just gonna walk away. But I have to do better at, even if I do want to end the conversation, instead of just walking away or like being like, all right, I'm done. I need to practice like, okay, telling you like, look, let's table this. Let's talk about it later, right? So there's sometimes our conflict.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah, like let's table it. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that way more. I'd say you could call me a BANIGGA. You could call me a broke boy. You could talk crazy. That stuff won't affect me as much as you cutting me off and telling me, like, oh, now you're just that, and like trying to walk with that infuriates me.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
That's one thing I have to work on.
That's a totally different.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, he's not listening to me, whatever.
Niggas are different.
Yeah.
Some people, they can handle you just like walking away and ending the conversation, but you calling them out their name was
crazy. Yeah,
people are different.
So let's talk about that. When we do have conflict, am I that type of person to like call you out your name or never. And do you think that helps? I'm not calling you out your name. I'm not.
It would help if I was a different person. That doesn't affect me.
Because you don't care if I did.
I think that's my normal. Like growing up with my mom, like getting called out my name, like or you, like me and you calling each other out the name. That wouldn't affect me at all.
Wow. Okay.
Not even
so it's the walking away that bothers you more than anything.
OD.
Okay.
OD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could just call you out your name. I'm gonna start just doing that.
Wouldn't bother me. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
That's crazy.
Because I know it's not true. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just words. But like you dismissing me and like shutting down the conversation and knowing that you're now no longer listening to what I'm saying. Nah, that.
Yeah. So we both don't like not being heard.
Yeah, 0 to 100.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. So what other things do you think help, like that help you to be, like in terms of like, do you think that I respect you? Do you think like what components or facets of my being a wife?
Now, there's things that you don't really help me in dealing with conflicts, but you help me in navigating life sometimes. Like, like when I'm at work and I'm trying to walk in my role, I'm trying to make decisions. Like, I'll just ask you what you think I should do, not just because I'm going to do what you, but just because, I don't know, I feel like you know me better than anybody else. But the things that you tell me, it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And I should do that. Like, usually it's sound. Yeah. So I think that...
It's funny because I think there are a lot of men that don't do that with their wives.
Yeah.
They don't listen to that like extra, like, hey, maybe this or maybe that. So yeah, you think that's something that you like? Yeah. I'm trying to think what else.
Usually your suggestions are pretty spot on. Yeah. Okay. I think so.
So I think our area right now that we have to like work on overcoming is the conflict. But it's funny because I think that recently it's all been little petty things, but it's still not as like consistent or often as it used to be.
How quick she just diminishes, what's the word? Diminishes my feelings.
What did I diminish?
Petty things. What if I care about it?
You know what I mean? It's like things that don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Not that you don't care about it, but they are little things that like, why do we argue about that?
Little things.
Oh my God, don't even do that. Don't even do that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's things where we look back on it like, that was stupid. Like, why did we argue about that? That was dumb. It was dumb, babe. Yeah. You think that conversation of the other day when we were trying to do this was something that's going to make or break us? That's what I mean.
Not make or break us.
That's what I mean.
But it really pissed me off.
It bothered me too. I was mad
really too. Yeah, you was mad. You was mad first, and you got to say a lot.
I didn't say that. I got to say we said enough equally, and then we were like, "Yeah, that's it." And I mean, I said, "Yeah, that's it." You didn't. I think we did get. We both got to talk. We both sitting here and you were saying everything. I remember everything you said.
No, absolutely not.
I answered everything.
Absolutely not. No, you said a lot. I responded to something, but then when it was my time to talk, it was like, all right, now you're just, and it was a wrap.
To be fair, I didn't know, babe, because we sat here, you did say some things, because everything you said, I responded back to. When you said, oh, this feels like a production, it feels fake, but I responded back to that. Everything you said, I responded back to.
That was me responding to you, but yo, you said a lot.
What did I say that you needed to respond to? Because I was asking you, did you want to do it or not? No, we're not even about to get into this, because I feel like that's where our conversations go left too, because you'll say something and I'll end up responding to you, but you see it as me just going, and I'm just responding to each point that you make. So every point that you made, I said something to it. Hey, that's not that because we always do this. And then you said, oh, but I feel like when I was doing the microphones, you looked at me crazy. I'm like, no, that's not what it was. So everything you're saying to me that you felt like I did or whatever, I'm responding back.
You would obviously respond back, but following the you responding back, you would go on but back to the why I think this is and I'm just like,
so let me ask the people then, so they can leave comments, so we can talk about what it was, right? Earlier in the day, we were trying to do the podcast. I said, hey, babe, we're going to do the podcast tonight, right? Now, this man had a couple hours to let me know if he didn't want to do it, but he said, yeah, I'll do it, right? So he's in there in the room on his little VR headset that he's been on. I've been taking videos of you. He's in his little VR headset and I put the kids in the room. I'm getting ready. Okay. So now the kids is all settled. I'm doing my hair. I did my makeup. I'm like, all right, babe, let's go. He takes his VR headset off. I'm like, okay, we're good. We come in here to do the same thing we always do when we do the podcast. I'm setting up the microphone. I'm checking the lights, right? And I notice his demeanor is just different. And I didn't even say nothing off back because I noticed, I'm like, all right, something is off. And I'm like, let me not even say nothing. Like, we just gonna record. So we start fixing the mics and I'm telling him like, oh, are the mics right? And he's just looking at me with these looks. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is the problem?
Crazy. I'm not gonna hold you.
Right. I'm like, what is the problem? So we sit down on the couch, we still fixing the mics. And there was one point where he like looks up at me because I'm saying like, oh, your mic is on wrong. He gives me this crazy look. So then I was like, okay, so now we're talking about who's going to sit on which side of the couch because he got this tattoo on his neck that he want to show everybody.
So you're going to expose me? That's what we do. He going to expose me. Okay, all right, that's what we doing. Go ahead.
I'm not exposing you. For example, okay, I can expose myself. I have a missing tooth. So I'm like, I didn't tell him this though, but I didn't want to sit over on that side because I don't want anybody to see my tooth, right? So anyway, he wants to sit on this side. I'm like, okay, fine.
Wait, time out. Yeah. What did I say today when you told me about the missing tooth? I said I would have conceded.
Yes, he said he would have conceded.
I would have been like, okay, vanity.
But the reason why I didn't though is because it really wasn't that big of a deal to me. I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. My mind was like, why do you want people to see that? Like, that's where my mind went to. Like, why do you, like, it don't even matter. All
right, now you make me sound crazy.
I'm just saying.
It wasn't about move, man.
Get out of here,
It wasn't
girl.
about go. It wasn't about They were like,
no, what you said was that was your good side. That's what he said. That was his good side. And everybody has a good side.
I think my left side is a good side. And like, if I'm going to be on camera, I think this side of me just looks better than this side of me. That was just...
Okay. So that was his good side that his tattoo is on. And my good side is this side of my face. So anyway, after that's done, we're like fixing the mics. And he gives me this look. And I said to him, I was like, babe, like, I think I was saying like, what's wrong? Like, if you didn't want to do it, you could have just told me. So at first,
I didn't. I absolutely did not want to do it. Not even a little bit.
So I was like, if you didn't want to do it, you could have just told me. Like, I would much rather that, right? And so he was just like, at first he was just kind of looking at me. And that moment, what I was expecting was for him to be like, you know what, babe, you're right. Yeah, I should have told you. But he was like, oh, well, you already did your makeup, so let's just do it. And I'm like, well, that's the point, right? Like, I got to all this point. You could have been told me you didn't want to do the podcast. So now we're sitting here and now he's saying all the other reasons why he doesn't want to do it, which I know are excuses, which is why I was frustrated. Because I'm like, you're talking about it feels like a production. And then you're like, oh, but you looked at me crazy. And I'm just like, these are all fake excuses.
I know are excuses. These are just fake excuses.
And I know they're fake excuses too. But this true
outrageous.
though. Okay, let me put it this way, because you're right. I don't want to diminish it.
It's crazy.
I don't want to diminish it. You're right. What I'll say is those reasons you gave me were way lower on the scale than the real reason, which was you didn't want to do it. I'm sure they matter to you, but what really matters is you didn't want to do it.
You see what you confused? The outcome is that I don't want to do it. It's not the real reason is I don't want to do it, because I don't want to do it is not a reason. These are the reasons that I don't want to do it is the outcome. You didn't give a fuck. Language. You didn't care about that. I don't want to do it because
in my mind, I'm just like, he just doesn't want to do it. So why not just say, hey, I don't want to do it? Because the reasons don't matter. All I'm caring about is you don't want to do it. So I did all of when I say what I mean by that is I can't change those reasons if the outcome is still the same, right? It's not like I can give you different reasons to change the outcome. The outcome is the outcome. You don't want to do it. But now we're sitting here and we can't do it.
We can't do it. Now, here's my thing. I'm saying we can do it still. We're going to do it. You already did this much.
And what did I say?
That's the man in me telling you, like, obviously, okay, it's clear that I don't want to do this. At some point, I told you we're obviously getting frustrated with each other. And you're like, no, but it's just you. And I'm like,
yeah, I wasn't upset.
That's not true.
I wasn't frustrated.
Okay, you weren't frustrated, but you were obviously aware of how I was feeling. Yes. And so you were projecting something as well. But I'm still willing to do it because we already did so so much. So I'm willing to just put it aside. And once the camera start rolling, I can just let it go and we can just flow and we can just do it.
So my worry.
But one of the things that was bothering me, I had a sore throat. That's not a fake reason. Like I just was not in that type.
My point is, what I'm saying is, babe, the way
you knew I had a sore throat.
I know, but that's not. When I asked you hours earlier if you wanted to do it, you said yes. That's why I was so frustrated, because it's not like I came to you as soon as the kids went to bed and you only had 5 minutes to get ready.
This is the point that I didn't get to make. Okay, so if you tell me that this woman has had this couch set up. She's had these tables set up. I had to put up these pictures, which I didn't mind to do. Took 2 seconds. We had these pictures put up. She untested all of this stuff, the mics. For maybe a week and a half. Everything.
I didn't test
maybe
it for a
2
week.
weeks.
No, I was like a day.
No, you didn't test it. But you've had all this set up for maybe 2 weeks steadily.
Yeah.
And you've been waiting to do it.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to like put it off because I didn't want to do it.
I know.
So obviously, when you tell me, "Hey, do you want to do the thing today?" I have to do it.
You don't have to.
You do, because it's like obviously you want to do it. So like as a man, it's like taking out the trash. Like I have to do it. Not saying this is trash, but it's like
I know what you're saying.
I have to do my chores. Like I gotta do it.
Here's my perception, right? My perspective. Yeah. I know that you were working, which is one of the reasons why I put it off, because like I want you to be okay with it. So I wouldn't have been mad if you wouldn't have said no. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
That's fine. What I want, and the point I was trying to make was, I want you to communicate with me. If I tell you hours ago, hey, I want to do this podcast, and you wasn't really feeling it, before I do my makeup, before I get dressed, tell me, hey, babe, I don't want to do it right now because my throat hurts, I'm not really feeling it. Okay, I'd rather you tell me than to sit here passive aggressively and pretend like you want to do it and feel like you have to because of whatever reason. No, just tell me that you don't want to do it. That was my point. So you're right. Like, I didn't consider those being reasons. I'm just looking, the outcome again is you don't want to do it. So the reasons you're giving me, I feel like is your roundabout way of you just not wanting to say you just don't want to do it, period. So you're like, it feels like this, it feels like that. That's why I'm defending it. I'm like, we always do this, or this is like, literally, this is what we do. We fix the mics, we do all of that. That's why I was so upset. Cause I'm like, why doesn't he understand what I'm saying? Like, just, you could have just communicated that with me hours ago when I brought it up.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. So that's why I've been telling you the story, because I want to see the comments. Maybe somebody else will have a different perspective. Maybe some men will be like, no, it's because of da-da-da-da. I think all women, we just want the men to be honest. Because what I don't want you to do is to feel like you have to do something. Because I don't ever, like, I'd rather you tell me you don't want to.
Like, I know I don't have to. I know I can tell you I don't want to.
Right. So
but I don't want to tell you I don't want
Why
to.
not?
Like, that's because it's a man thing. It's like, you know, your girl's going to ask you, like, this is not you, but like, you know, your girl's going to ask you like, oh, can you come with me to Target? Like, you know you don't want to, but you don't want to tell her you don't want to because you don't want to disappoint her. Like, that's your woman. So it's like, you just gotta do it. So it's like,
I understand.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have been disappointed because I low-key didn't want to do it either. Just because by the nighttime I'm kind of tired, but I'm like, you know. The biggest
thing why I didn't want to do it is because, like you said, it wasn't about getting on the game and that's what I wanted to do. It was the fact that I had to work in the morning and after doing this, I have to go to sleep. And I didn't want my night to be taken away from me.
I know.
So it was like, damn,
like, I wish you would have did this on the day off. That's why I asked you, hey, baby, doing? Yeah, okay, we'll do it. So now I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. A couple hours go by, but then we get here and you don't want to do it. I'm like, I didn't have to do all this makeup because now I got to go wash it all off. Like, that's why I was upset, because you just didn't communicate it. That's all you had to do. And I would have been like, all right, let's do it a different day. Yeah.
Respectfully, we still could have done it, but you ended the conversation.
And that's what I wanted to say.
And I was still willing to do it up until you ended the conversation.
That's what I wanted to say. The reason why I didn't was because I knew, because your demeanor was off, it wouldn't have been a good flowing conversation, and they can tell when two people are not on one accord. That's what I said.
I think as soon as we would have started talking,
you can tell.
I'm fake. As soon as the camera was started, as soon as the camera started rolling, I would have turned it off. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't know that. I'm just like, all right, he's not really gonna flow with it. And these are the questions I wanted to ask you, and I didn't want it. It was
the setup and the rigmarole. I'm like, yo, just let's go. Like, I'm
that's what we had to do. Like, set up the mic.
Like,
we
let's
did the
go.
same thing today. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, we always do this. You know, that's why I felt like it was an excuse. I'm like. Like, what? It's a production. Like, we literally do the same thing every time. Yeah, set up the lights and all of that, you know? So that's what that was. That, since you want to tell everybody the argument.
Yeah, this is a boring episode, I think.
No, it's not. I think it's perfect. They know they love to see mess. They love to see the drama. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any other facets of me being a wife that help you be a husband. I don't know. Because right now it all sounds like the physical, like the things that I do. But I think that's because that's like your love language. When I do those things, like have your clothes out for you.
Yeah, when you do those things, I feel love.
Maybe that's why you don't notice the other things.
That doesn't make sense to me, though. Things that you do as a wife that help me be a husband. Like, what is...
I don't know how else to word it, but I think that what they're saying is like, basically, are you a good wife? So like, you're making all these videos like about, you know, giving other women advice, but like, does it work for your husband? Like that type of thing.
Here's what I think, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's no freaking scale you can put up, like a good wife scale, because every person is different and what they expect in a wife is different, right?
Yes.
I think there's a thing of being a good spouse to your spouse, because you could be a good spouse to whoever you're with, but then you get with somebody else and you could be doing the same exact things and he's like, yeah, you're terrible, because he doesn't want the same things.
Yeah.
I think you do, or you started doing, and you've been doing for a while now, the things that I've always wanted you to do, or the things that I started to realize what I wanted in a wife. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
And so because you do those things, it's a lot easier for me to, and this is going to sound crazy, but accept the fact that I'm married. Because I feel like with men, it's like there's like this weird, like, I don't want to say sacrifice, but it's like when you choose one woman out, I'm sure it's the same for women, but when you choose one woman to be with for the rest of your life, it's like if that woman is not living up to your idea of what that woman needs to be, you feel cheated. And I feel as though now that you're stepping into and doing the things that I would expect that woman to do, it's a lot easier for me to accept the fact that, yeah, like this is it for me for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? That sounds crazy, but it's like, that's how I feel it. Yeah.
But I think you're right, which is why some men are just, they can be unhappy. And even though they don't say it, that's probably a part of it. Like, I married you and I only got to be with you, but you're not even walking in the role I need you to walk in. Yeah. It sounds selfish, but like
I wouldn't even say not walking in the role that that I need you to walk in. I would say you're not the person that I thought I would be with for the rest of my life. And it's weird because when you first get married, it's like, I don't think anybody knows what they want that to be. Like, people think that you know what you want that to be, but that's different for different people.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what if I wanted you to cook and clean and do all these things, but now suddenly we have millions of dollars? It's like, why would I need you to do it? I can pay somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't know what it's going to look like until you start walking in them footsteps. Then you understand like what you need that person to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense. I get that.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But I think men they're not as honest as that though. I think they'll give a different reason. But to say it like that,
what you mean?
Like the whole, men feel cheated. Like if I get married and you're not who I thought you were going to be. Let me not speak for all men.
That's how I genuinely would feel. Like when I was in Colorado, I felt cheated. I felt like, nah, this is not right. I'm doing all of this. I'm doing all, but I also still didn't know what I wanted. I knew what I didn't. I knew what I wanted you not to do.
Right.
I knew I wanted you not to eat in the bed. I knew I wanted you not to complain about when I'm out with my friends. I knew that, but I didn't know what I expected from you for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so I know for those that don't know, when he's saying we were in Colorado, that was in 2017. So that was years ago. That was 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
8 years. That was a year after we got married.
Yeah.
So we're 19, 20 years old, married. We just had a son. He's in the military. We just left our family for the first time, living together on our own for the first time. Just for context, because at 19, 20 years old, you definitely don't know what you want. Like you said, we know what we don't want. We know I don't want you to do certain things, but we don't know what it was supposed to.
You think you know.
Yeah.
You think you know, but things change.
Yeah.
Like,
and people change.
Requirements change too. I feel like that's the thing that people don't think about.
Yeah.
Like your requirements of what you need in somebody change. And I feel like that's why people be falling out of love, because they don't be honest about that. You know what I'm saying?
People don't want to.
Because obviously at some point when y'all got together, that person was enough. Now suddenly they're not. It's like, no, now your requirements change. It's like
because you learn more about yourself.
Yeah, like things
so
change.
Too. I think so too. Nobody likes to speak up about that. Now let's talk about that, right? And then we can kind of close out. But I want you to share with me, because remember we had a conversation.
We gotta do another episode tomorrow. I miss this. This is fun.
Yeah, okay. So remember we were having a conversation about my serving you and how you were uncomfortable with it. I want you to talk about that. You don't have to go into detail, but just why were you uncomfortable with the idea of me serving you?
Because I'm scared of being a narcissist.
Yeah.
So it was like, what were we talking about specifically? It's like, so you cleaning, you cooking, you bringing me food while I'm on a game, or you bringing me food while I'm laying in bed. It's like, those are great things that any man would want. I think most men, but it's like at some point I felt as though I don't know. I was scared of being too selfish. Like I feel as though love is supposed to be unconditional because, again, that goes back to like the Jehovah's Witness thing. I felt like love was always conditional growing up. And like for me to put those things on you and you to start doing them, I felt as though not to diminish why you were doing them, because part of me thought, yeah, you were doing them because you just want to stay married. But it was more about like looking at myself in the mirror, like, Donnie, you're a piece of crap. Like you're supposed to love this woman for who she is and for what she does. And yet you told her she has to do this, and that, or you require this, that, and that. And now that she's doing it, it's like I had to look at myself, and it makes me feel weird. It's like you bring me food and stuff, and it's like it makes me feel like damn, bro, like look at her, she's doing all of this, and you're still walking in Walmart looking at women, or you're still watching porn, or you're still doing this, and like you're a piece of garbage. Like, it was a me thing. Yeah. It wasn't really you know what I'm saying?
Because I think another part of the conversation was I was saying, hey, babe, if you need something, tell me, and I think that's when you finally opened up about it's like, well, I don't, like, you felt like you were being selfish, but I'm like, it's not really selfish because we all have needs and desires, but I can't meet your needs if you don't tell me. Because a part of my loving you unconditionally is me saying, hey, if you need something from me, I'm willing to do that for you.
I feel like that's something that men do. I feel like a woman naturally would be like, yo, like tell me what you need and I'll be that person for you, just like you would for them. But I feel like the man in you says something stupid like, what did I used to say to you? I used to say something along the lines of like, well, if my thing about it is I need to be with the person who's naturally going to do that. I didn't say it in those words, but it was like, if you were that kind of person, you would be doing those things already. And I feel like that's just a cop out because you don't want to confess the fact that you have requirements and you have needs that are not being met. You know what I'm saying? At least for me.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a cop out.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Like, babe, if you have any needs, you have to let me know so I can, you also deserve to have your needs met.
Which is weird because the latter is harsher. Like me saying, oh, like you're just, if you were that type of person, you would have been doing it already. Like, I need to be that's harsher than you telling like, yo, listen, this is what I need in a wife.
Of course.
But I feel like as a man, like you're quicker to say you don't fit the bill than, hey, I need more.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier.
Yeah, it's so funny. And when he's talking about like the cleaning and stuff, I was not a disciplined wife. Yeah. And it was because like growing up, I wasn't really taught how to be a disciplined wife. So certain habits that I had before I became a wife, I brought into being a wife. So he was the one that was kind of like, hey, babe, like I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And so when I finally did do it, I think because I changed, I think you internalized that as, oh, now she's doing it for me. And that's what made you feel bad, made you feel selfish. But I was trying to explain to him that my becoming more disciplined and being better was also a good thing for me. So it's not even like I just did it for you. It was a good benefit overall for everybody. And that was a good thing. So I was trying to express to him that him helping me to become more disciplined benefits us as a family. So you don't need to feel bad, that I'm now doing certain things. But yeah, I wanted you to talk about that because I don't know if it's something that a lot of men feel, but I never thought that you would feel that way because I thought all men wanted to be served. Like we love to be served, right? Like why have anything to say against that?
I don't know. It's a weird thing. I feel like it's because in the beginning, I used to do a lot of the cleaning. Like I think in the beginning, like I did a lot of the dishes. I wouldn't even say a lot of the cleaning. I would say some of the cleaning. But I did the bathrooms and I did the dishes. But there were times where you did step up and you would clean things. And like me in my mind, it's like you're not cleaning the things the way I would clean them. But I feel like that's a trauma thing because it's like, the way I would clean the table is the certain way that my grandmother would make me clean the table. And it's like, you gotta clean the table, wipe the table down, clean it with Windex, and then put the plastic over it. Like it was excessive. Yeah. And then when you would step up and do it, I would see you doing it as you're doing it half-assed or you're not doing it.
It was just different.
Yeah. And it was like that's the part where that's definitely a me thing. Like you gotta like, nah, bro. Just because you wouldn't clean something that way, like you can clean it yourself if that's the case. I don't want to clean it.
I know. So
whatever.
Yeah. So I want to say, do you feel better now? Like, do you feel different now about being served?
I would say I'm definitely getting used to it. Yeah, for sure.
Feels better.
100%, yeah.
Feels normal.
Feels way better. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like I sound like a freaking
You
maniac.
don't. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I sound nuts.
don't.
Like, no, this man just got this woman in here like, oh, baby.
I think what makes you sound humbled is the fact that you admitted that at first you were not okay with it. Because some men come into it like, you gonna serve me. But yeah, I think talking about that makes you humbled because I want them to see both sides, that not all men just come into marriage to abuse it and be like, you're gonna serve me and I want everything this way. There are some men like you that probably feel like, well, dang, I don't want to feel like I'm selfish.
In their defense, I feel like some men don't know how to they don't know how to articulate that it's a need, and they make it, or they explain it in a way that like it's a requirement or a decree or a command.
I see, like a command, like they're demanding it instead of saying, hey, I need this. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because they not really tapped into that part of themselves yet that allowed them to really have those type of conversations. That's what I think. Okay,
so like to end it, do you think overall on a scale of 1 to 10?
You better be tight. Go ahead.
I'm not even going to ask.
Go ahead.
I'm not even going to set myself up. Never mind. Because why are you playing me on the camera? Why can't you
imagine?
Okay, you see what that 4 is like in the morning, so you got nothing to eat, and clothes ain't folded and washed and clean and all of that.
That'll be a 2.
Okay, no, but overall, though, you think that I'm right now, the place where I'm at, like you said, starting when we were in 2017 up until now, my stewarding wifehood has gotten better.
Point, right? Here's a perfect point. I think if you were doing your coaching calls 2-3 years ago, I would have looked at you like you're a hypocrite and a weirdo.
I can agree with that.
Like, legitimately, I would have looked at you like here we go. And I would be judging you and I wouldn't want you to do it because of that reason. But right now, you doing the coaching calls, like, I don't even be hearing what you're talking about, but you doing the coaching calls and talking to women, I know for a fact that the things that you're going to tell them are going to help.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way.
I appreciate that.
I can't put it on a scale, but like,
I appreciate that.
2-3 years ago, I'd be like, nah.
For sure, yeah. Because we were still...
But that's just me. And you probably still had knowledge and things that could help people. But
I wasn't applying.
Me as a husband and looking at you as a wife, you trying to help other wives, I would dead be like, this woman
I agree with you completely. I agree with you.
Weird
How long have you been here? 3 years. When we first moved here, that was the end of 2020. That was when we got back together. We were still working on stuff. So 3 years ago, I was not...
Yeah, I'll say it that way. That's probably the best way to explain how I look at your wifely duties or whatever you want to call it.
My helping. Okay, y'all. So we heard it here first. Buki said, I'm good. So when y'all watching my videos, especially the men, I don't want y'all to think like, oh, you saying all this, but da 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 da. No, I'm applying it. Okay. So y'all, we're gonna let y'all go now and end everything here because I think the battery's starting to get low.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
MetaQuest 3, yo, get one. Free promo now. That thing is low.
Yeah, right. No free promo.
Nah, I don't care. MetaQuest 3, yo.
Send us, they need to pay up.
It's worth the money. Better than Xbox. Same price.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the For Your Good podcast. We will see you guys again. I don't even know. We'll be on here when we on here. We ain't gonna post another one tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not gonna post another tomorrow, but we're gonna record another one tomorrow. Kids gonna be in school, we off.
So we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much. You can follow us on Instagram at foryourgoodpod. You can follow my personal Instagram page at Zae Hudson and my TikTok page at Zae Hudson, and find us on YouTube where you can watch us at Zae Hudson as well. So thank you guys again. Bye.